King-Ohger episode 16. This was quite the episode, as it was a Rita-focused episode and we learned a little bit about Rita's past, but not only that, it's setting up some small story plot elements that are definitely going to pay off later down the line. Not only that, it looks like we're going into a new story arc with Racules' alliance with the Bugnarak, which is something we'll be talking about in this video for this review, discussion, recap, whatever you want to call it, and we'll be going over it. So this episode was a Rita-focused episode where we learn about their past and how they became king all those years ago. We found out where there was a previous king, which was something we kind of knew about because Rita has said in a few episodes before that all the rangers were thrown into a weird position where they all became kings due to the wrath of the gods. And in this episode, we learn that there was a previous king called Karasu or Karas, depending on what subs or translation you go with. And this person called Karasu faked their death, and apparently they're out to discover the the secret of the wrath of the gods, from what I can interpret it from why they went missing in action. But with Rita doing their court case and putting the person on trial, we soon find out that the wrath of the god was man-made, something that Himino has been speculating for the past couple of episodes ever since Jeremy came onto the scene. Now, we don't know who caused the wrath of the gods or the fury of the gods, whatever you want to call it, but we know that it could possibly be made by someone who was a person because they had the control of the cicadas way back then using the locust. Now, the big speculation, or my money, is on Racules because you see the chin in the flashback. But if it is Racules, and then they need to do some big explaining with what Racules was doing 15 years ago, if he's roughly about, he's a little bit older than most of the Rangers, round about Dabowski's age, but then they got to explain how he was there all those years ago. So I get the feeling that the mystery of the Wrath of the Gods is going to be an ongoing story arc, and I feel like this story arc with the Wrath of the Gods and who caused it, it won't be answered until maybe the 20s or the 30s into the show, or maybe even keep it in their back pocket closer to the end game as the mystery unravels and we get closer and closer with all the clues. Now, whoever this Karasu person is, I'm guessing we'll see them later down the line as the character Chiron is going to look for them, so we'll be seeing these characters later down the line, and no doubt about it, they'll be making their return in the show sometime later down the line. So when they do make their return, no doubt about it, it's going to be a big impact into the story, or when our heroes are probably backed into a corner, or when we get some new revelations. So this Karasu character means something important to Rita, as they were the previous kings, so no doubt about it, we'll be seeing them very soon. And the whole Rita court case storyline in this episode I really did enjoy as well, where Rita had Chiron on trial, and Chiron was the first person that Rita ever convicted when they first became king. I really enjoyed that storyline they had going on, and then Rita learning the truth and coming to the conclusion of what really happened to Karasu as they read the note, where the note said, if you're reading this, you know what happened. And then Chiron is found innocent, and that's where Chiron goes on his little journey to find Karasu. But Rita was really cool in this episode as well, especially that end fight scene where we got to see Rita's Sharingan, which I'm wondering if will ever get explained later down the line. I know it's not the Sharingan, but I call it the Sharingan because it's an eye that lights up when Rita starts fighting. So I'm wondering if we'll ever get an answer to that later down the line, because I think this is the second time we've seen it in battle when Rita goes to use it. We saw it way back when Rita was first introduced back in, well, not first introduced, but the first Rita-focused episode way back in episode 5, and now we're seeing it again 11 plus episodes later. So that's pretty freaking cool that eye thing is coming into play again, so hopefully it gets some answers as well. But Rita I really enjoyed. I know there's this whole waifu war, if you want to call it that, between Rita and Himino. I think they're both cool. I think they both have cool character traits that you can both appreciate. They both have growth with these two characters, and they've both come into their own within the past couple of episodes. So Rita's a really fascinating character, and I wonder where they're going to go moving forward within the end game of the show. Alright, let's talk about the Racules stuff, because the Racules stuff is kind of fascinating with where it's going. So last week we had Racules going to talk to the Bugnarak, and of course we didn't see where the conversation went. We saw a glimpse of it in a flashback, but we heard nothing at all. But at the end of the episode, where you see the Bugnarak invading Yama's kingdom, then you can understand where it's going. And it looks like that Racules has formed some kind of alliance with the Bugnarak, and I'm guessing that's to stomp on the lesser countries that is going to get in his way. And of course, he was going to start with Yanma, because these guys have had beef ever since episode 1 when Yanma opposed him. So it looks like that Racules is sort of taking over countries with the Bugnarak, and it's like, you can either stand with me or stand against me, and that looks like where it's going to be going. But the alliance that Racules is forming with the Bugnarak looks like it might be going in some interesting notes, as it looks like we'll be meeting a new general for the Bugnarak, which is about time, because we only have like the tall guy with the staff, and then we've got Defnarok, so I'm glad we're actually meeting another general, and I'm wondering what their personality and their traits are going to be moving forward. It looks like a big dude, so he's probably going to be that gruff buff guy. But either way, Racules forming an alliance with the Bugnarak, pretty something we kind of knew that would happen later down the line. A lot of people thought that he was in cahoots with him since the very beginning, but it looks like he's now forming an alliance with him to crush all the opposing kingdoms. And Jeremy's whole philosophy on this is, oh, we'll bring peace to the countries no matter what happens, and Kira's like, you can't trust him. Racules is not a cool dude, and he's always planning something, so just be aware of that. So even though Jeremy's got good intentions where he thinks they can be some kind of alliance, this is not going to go the way he thinks it's going to go with someone like Racules forming an alliance with the Bugnarak, because they're both bad dudes, they're both assholes, and that's going to bite Jeremy in the ass moving forward. So that's pretty much my thoughts on King-Ohger episode 16. Overall, I thought it was a pretty solid episode, a good Rita focused episode. Got some good moments with Rita in there, especially at the end with Himino and Rita, where Rita can't accept the gift, the Bandai Premium Mofin. Rita says, I can't explain it, I've got to be neutral, and then Himino says, well, I'm just going to leave it here, it's trash now, so do what with you want it as you please. And then Rita ends up taking it, and they say thank you. So that was a nice little moment in the episode. So this episode I really enjoyed, and I can't wait to see where King-Ohger is going to go moving forward. It's still a really solid Sentai, I'm getting a kick out of it. There was some weird visual stuff going on with the green screen they use. You can definitely see some weird fuzziness with the green screen here and there, weird clipping in a bit. The one thing that threw me off, I will say, is that end scene where Himino and Rita was talking, where they have that big CGI sort of wall between them, and the sort of like rooftop that they used as sort of the divider. You can see just how bad the CGI was for it. I don't want to call it bad, but it didn't look good. I'll just say that. Looked pretty stinky, but that was like really off-putting as well when I kept looking at it with how it was filmed. I mean, that was just like, you can probably tell that they filmed that in 2 different sets, and then they had the divider there to sort of make it seem like they were in the same building. So we've got that going on. But yeah, King-Ohger episode 16, really enjoyed. Can't wait to see where the show is going to go next. What are your thoughts? What are your theories on King-Ohger and moving forward? What do you think Racules' big plan is? Who do you think he'll go after Yanma's kingdom? And leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and stuff like that. So with that said, I'm out of here. Have a wonderful day or night. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Take care. Bye.